Here we go. We're going to do a review of something a little bit different this week. You know what an IR is? I didn't, to be honest with you. An impulse response is literally, they grab it, they go, that's it, we'll have that. And you can, I don't think that's exactly how they do it, but it's magic, basically. Well, it's like a real Marshall. It's like really bright and, yeah, not very nice, actually. Do I know what I'm talking about? This is what you've got to ask yourself. I think a lot of you know the answer. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. It's good to see you again. And it's good to still be here. If you saw last week's video, you'll know what on earth I'm talking about. Last week, I was having a little bit of a whinge, wasn't I, about my lot here on YouTube, about how hard it is, how hard my life is here, keeping things going, keeping the House of Guitars, House of Cards, guitars, see what I did there? Standing, yeah, that's the thing with a House of Cards, isn't it? It falls down. Yeah, I was having a bit of a whinge. None of that this week, though. I wanted to say thanks, though. Thanks for all the support, you guys. You guys are incredible, really. The positive vibes coming from you lot is quite overwhelming sometimes. All the comments, suggestions. I had some great suggestions, some solutions even. Going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of this video, when all of you, when all of you care, I'm not going to stop, I'm going to carry on. When all of you that care, yeah, or words to that effect, will still be watching. Now, we're going to do a review. We're going to get straight into something positive, providing the product's not shit, of course. We're going to do a review of something a little bit different this week. As you may have surmised from the thumbnail, it's a stomp box. It's a stomp box, and it's something that's quite alien to me, not the thing. I mean, it's a Boss stomp box. It looks just like every other Boss stomp box that you've ever seen, really. It looks like the Boss stomp box that I had on my pedal board in 1984. And they're wonderful things, aren't they? But this is a little bit different. I think we'll find this has got IRs in it. IRs. You know what an IR is? I didn't, to be honest with you. IR is an impulse response, okay? Impulse response is, I'll put the description up on the screen so you can actually read it. But basically, it's, I've forgotten all, I know what it is, but I can't describe it. Yeah, it's an exact snapshot of a rig, basically, of an amp, mics, speaker setup, the whole kit and caboodle. It's a snapshot. It's not like a sim. I'm trying to explain this, and I really haven't got a clue what the fuck I'm talking about. It's different to a sim, I think. A sim is a simulation. An IR, an impulse response, is literally, they grab it, they go, that's it, we'll have that. And you can, I don't think that's exactly how they do it, but it's magic, basically. And I've never been interested in that kind of thing. I've been an analog man through and through. The last time I used a kind of digital sims, I think they were, was in a Fender Mustang amp, which are great amps for starters, you know, for you know, practicing and stuff, for home use. Great little things, cheap as chips, and they've got, you know, loads of different sounds, you know, simulations of, you know, fabulous amps. But they're all a bit rubbish, to be honest with you. And as soon as I discovered tube amps, I moved on and never looked back, to be honest with you. And I'm kind of fiercely defend tube technology. Yeah, vintage tube technology. Can you call it technology even? It went back to the early 1900s, didn't it? Valves. That's what they used to dial in the wireless, didn't they, during the war? They were tubes, weren't they? Anyway, I digress. I'm a massive fan of tubes because I think that I always say that tube amps are an instrument in their own right. And I think that those of you that understand tube amps will agree with me. You know, they all sound a little bit different. So I've never been interested in digital stuff at all. However, I just saw this, and actually, this has come about due to trying to find a solution actually for a mate of mine, young lad next door, Brandon. He's a youth, and he's got a great little band, and they're going out and they're gigging, and all over the place. You know, a lot of stuff in London, so they're on the tube, they're on the underground up to Camden, and clearly you can't be carrying heavy amps, you know, and the amount that they're doing, you know, you can't, you know, you just want to jump on a train, jump on a tube, do your gig, and then quite often go and do another gig as well. So it's not practical to carry your own gear. So it's a bit hit and miss, isn't it? What you're going to end up with when you get there. You know, kit's always been there, hasn't it? As a given. When we were youths, the PAs were always shit. So, you know, it was a bit dodgy, wasn't it? Nowadays, PAs are always good. Backline, you don't know what it's going to be. So, sound is not live sound. What am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is, I want to try and help them get a consistent live sound, guitar sound. I want to try and help young Brandon get a consistent guitar sound, whatever he's faced with when he turns up. And I saw this and I thought, well, you know what, maybe this is the answer, because you can put this in his pocket even if he wanted, or his satchel, or whatever it is he uses to carry his stuff. This could be the answer, because it's got 11 famous amps. Turn up, plug it into the PA or to whatever backline amp you've got, and there's your sound dialed in. Same every time. Well, that's the theory. Whether or not it works, I don't know. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to find out. So what we'll do now is we'll review it. I've been talking for quite a long time already, haven't I? I don't know if I'll use much of that, but what I'm going to do now is get a guitar out. I've got a few out. I'm going to plug it in, and we'll go through this thing and see what it's all about. So let's do that now. Right, we'll start with the SG today. This one's got, I think they're 61 burst buckers. Is that right? Something like that anyway. And they're quite pokey. Now what I'm doing with this is, so it's, you've got a USB output, so you can go directly into computer, and that'll be the purest signal, the purest representation of these ERs, okay? And I think you can make your own sims. I think you can make your own cab sims. I'm not going to get any deeper into it, to be honest with you, because it goes a little bit blurry at that point, okay? USB into computer, record, fine. And the other options are, you've got stereo outs basically, A and B or a mono, to go directly into a PA. So you turn up at a gig, you go direct into the stage box, PA, mixer, whatever. Pick your sound, that's coming out the speakers and out your monitors, hopefully. I'm pointing in ears these days, isn't it, or on the floor. I don't know. I mean, I think PAs in venues these days are pretty well sorted. I doubt if they have in-ear monitors for bands on demand, but I'm told that PAs are pretty good nowadays. They weren't back in our day. You'd be lucky if there was a PA. Anyway, I digress. The idea is turn up at gig, straight into a PA. There's your sound. The other option with this, of course, is you can go into the backline amp, and that's what I'm going to do today. So what we're doing is, effectively, we're mixing the ERs with an analogue with the analog sound of my Princeton 65, which we use every week. So that kind of I expect will give it an extra frisson of actual tube technology in what we hear today. Now in the manual, it tells me, because I did look at it last night, if you're going to go into a backline, you need to set it up for the type of amp you're using to adjust, to make an adjustment. Yeah, to make an adjustment for it. Yeah, that explains it, doesn't it? That's the idea. But I'm not going to do that, not to start with, okay? I'm just going to go straight out of the IR-2 into the Princeton 65, and let's see what it sounds like. So, to start with, bypassed, pedals off. This is what our rig sounds like. Princeton 65, same as always. Cranked through the aux attenuator. Yeah, that's what that looks like. So we get a real nice breakup. Well, with pickups and a guitar like this, you do anyway. It sounds like this. That's middle with them rolled off a bit. Sounds nice already. But of course, I'm not at the Dog and Ferret in Camden Town faced with a WEM Dominator backline, am I? I'm here with my rig. So the idea is you use this pedal with your WEM Dominator or whatever. I mean, it's probably quite... Now, that was very clean. That's the point I'm making. WEM Dominator, something like that was very clean. Do you know what a WEM Dominator is? Yes, I know, most of you do. Most of you probably have one. So the point is, what you do, I'm going to keep the guitar rolled off for a bit. You've got 11 amp settings. Let's open the manual. Let's have a look what they are. Where are we? I'm on page 4 of the manual. Each amp setting has also got additional controls, bass, middle and treble, so you can adjust the bass, middle and treble, and it's got ambience, which is a bit of verb, and there are 3 types of verb. There's room, hall and plate. You can change that setting. The default setting is room, which is what I would use normally anyway, so I'm not going to muck with that, but you can adjust the amount of ambience, the level of that amp and the amount of gain on that amp, okay? And it's got two channels, let's call them channels, okay? Green and red and off. And the annoying thing about turning it off is if you're on one channel and you want to just turn it off, momentarily, quite a long momentarily actually, it goes to the other channel before it goes to bypass, which I think's annoying. Oh, I just noticed me shirt's undone. I don't know why. I don't know why that matters actually. Anyway, it's done up now. So that's that. And basically, I'm going to try and explain this now. Basically, when you go to a channel, like let's go to the first setting, which is clean, it will go to the last saved, what would you say, layout. So like what happens is, as soon as you change a setting, it will automatically save it, okay? So you don't have to save what you're doing. As soon as you twiddle the knobs, it'll automatically, I think it said after a couple of seconds, it'll automatically save that. So the next time you go to green, that'll be what you've got. Red, can't remember what that was. We'll worry about that in a minute. We're going to start by showing you what the clean is. I'm going to go to bypass first. That's bypass. And that's clean. We'll go through the settings without touching any of the EQs first to give you an idea what each one sounds like. Here we go. Clean is an unembellished, I can't say it, an unembellished clean sound that minimises the amp's idiosyncrasies, such as its trebly character and boomy low end. Does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? Now, before we go any further, it's got two outputs. I think I said that. It's got. I'm using mono because I'm going straight into an amp. And the idea is you could use a mono or a stereo to go into direct into the PA or the pre's before go into your door. Now, because I'm going into the amp, I can't also go into my stage box. Oh, fucking, my brain's not working. But what I thought I'd do is I'd try and be clever, and because you've got a headphone output, and what I discovered is that if you use headphones, it doesn't cut out the other outputs. So I've got a stereo headphone socket. I'm going to plug it in, and that's going into my door via the. Hang on, I can't see. I have to try and avoid getting my head in the way. Put that there. Now, what I've noticed is this. It creates an earth hum. Hear that? Fucking lost me hole again. Come on. But I tested it earlier, and it does work. I do get a signal direct into the door from this. So what I thought I'd do is see if there's a difference. So what I'll do, or what I've done, you've seen it now. I can't hear the difference, obviously, because all I can hear is the Princeton with the buzz on it. I'll have showed you the difference there, and later on I'll come back and comment on that, see if it was noticeable. I'm going to unplug the phones now. If that works, you could technically use both. You could go into PA and backline. I suppose there are other ways of doing that as well. If you go into a DI box, maybe on the stage. But I mean, I think the limitations of this as a piece of audio gear are, you know, it's got no XLRs on it. It's got no direct out. It's got no direct out, has it? Which is a shame. I thought this is the cheaper version of the IR-200. And I thought, oh, the IR-200's probably got XLRs, but I had a quick look and it hasn't. Anyway, moving on. So this is the clean. That's on the back, the front pickup. Let's just reference that against bypass again. See what I mean about that. Clean. I mean, it does actually sound cleaner, doesn't it? That's annoying, that. I don't know if that's the best example of I guess it's not meant to be used on or off, is it? It's meant to be used, and there are two settings, and bypass isn't necessarily one that you're going to use. In its defence, right, that's clean. Cool, fucking hell, it took long enough to do that, didn't it? Let's go on. The next one is twin, based on a Fender Twin Reverb. I'll tell you what, you'd have to have your twin cranked to get that sound. I think my Princeton's colouring it quite a lot there. Let's turn down the gain. Famously, a twin was used for, hang on, let's crank it a bit more. Twin reverb, cranked to fuck. The next is tweed. Oh, I turned the gain up there, so let's just let's go back to where I was on there. Oh, that's nice. So yeah, that's Fender Bassman 4x10 combo that's based on. Next, can you recognise this? Vox AC30, innit? Sounds like it, doesn't it? come on. It sounds great, doesn't it? Next, crunch. Quite bright, isn't it? Sorry if I'm piercing your ears. Let's turn the treble down. That should probably be saved for something else. So crunch just says crunch sound that uses MDP to deliver a crisp tone from all the strings. I've no idea what MDP is. Next, oh, okay, here's the one. Next, Brit. Marshall 1959. High gain, next. Going to do a bit of jamming in a little while. I'm just going to try, I'm trying to get through all these sounds. So that was high gain. This one's based on the Soldano. Okay, this one is Brown. Is that Eddie? It says high gain, lead sound with distinct edge, like those others didn't have, eh? I wish I had, hang on, sorry. I wish I had, if I had my strap on, we'd do some arse looping, but I'm going to have to put that on in a minute. I can't,
Well, missus.
I can't use the looper with my hands, so I'm going to have to arse loop, but I haven't got a strap on it, so it's hampering me. Let's just get through these sounds. Soldano, that was Brown, yeah, Brown, modded. More silly high gain, and then we've got the rectifier, which is based on the Mazabugi. Okay. It's quite recognisable, isn't it? Okay, let's get a strap on. Well, missus. Okay, let's try the Wilco Telly. This is back to the clean setting. As you can tell, I can't play that. So that's clean. Let's go to crunch. Right, here we go. Something like that, really. That Brit, it's like, well, it's like a real Marshall. It's like really bright and, yeah, not very nice, actually. Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste, that. Let's try another guitar. P90 on clean. Tidy arse looping. AC30. There you go. I don't know what that was. I prefer, yeah, I'm not really a high gain kind of guy, am I? I'm going about as far as the Brit. I mean, the high gain actually, which is called the high gain, sounded all right. That's as far as I went just then. Beyond that, you know, the chuggy stuff, I'm not really. It's not me, is it really? So we'll leave that to the chuggers. Well, I have no idea. I have no idea what that's going to come out like. I hope it's been recording okay. That's always the drama at this point. Let's go and check, and then we'll come back and we'll have a catch up. See what we think. See you in a minute. There you go. In case you're wondering, that was my Les Paul Junior, 1962 Les Paul Junior. SG shaped, obviously, 1962. It sounds good, doesn't it? The rig sounds good. The rigs. 11 rig, well, not all 11 sounded good. Some of them sounded really good. Some of them, I'm not so sure. But, wow, I think it sounded really good. Bearing in mind, it probably sounds better here than it does where you are at home through your speakers or headphones, because obviously when it goes down the YouTubes, it does get compressed. So you're probably hearing less definition than I am. I could hear quite a lot of definition. I mean, I was just sort of on playback there. Yeah. I think it sounded good. Also bearing in mind that I've got it through the actual tubes of the Princeton 65. So I'm kind of cheating, I suppose, aren't I? And I didn't configure it to compensate for that. I just went, oh, fuck it, we'll just stick it through the Princeton, see what it sounds like. So basically, I said you can configure the whole thing to suit what backline amp you're playing through, but it's a bit of a faff. I've got the manual here. I'm just going to quickly, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to talk you through it and show you what I mean. I'll put it up on the screen so you can read it as well. Specifying the amp to connect. Here's how to set the type of amp that's connected to the output A or B. Lets you calibrate the sound to give you the optimal sound for that amp. 1, turn off the power, unplug the cable from the input jack. 2, set the knob type to tweed, so you have to go like that. 3, turn the ambience, level and gain knobs all the way to counterclockwise. Oh God, ambience, that's the counterclockwise. There it is. Level, A, bass, in, twice. Hold that switch. Oh God, I'm from there. Hold that switch. Plug in the jack. Okay. Oh, I know what I've done. I wasn't holding down the power switch. Okay. Hold it down. Oh, fucking hell. And then what you meant? Are you meant to hold it down while you then select the type of amp? I'm not going to go any further, right? Because I've fucked it up already, probably. But here's the types of amp then. You've got another setting to choose the type of amp. You've got, okay, Jazz Chorus 120s, Katanas, Next Tone, Artist amps, Tube 1112 tube amps, 212, 412 stacks. There you go. I think I made my point, haven't I? It's a fucking faff. And I wouldn't fancy doing that every time I turned up at a gig. I suppose you get used to it, don't you? Anyway, you can do that. And that accurately illustrates why I didn't bother. So, moving on. So, yeah. Would it be better? We don't know. The door. When we did that bit earlier, we plugged straight in via the headphone sockets into the door. I had to listen back, as you've already heard it as well. It was, yeah, was a bit underwhelming. It sounded to me like everything I hate about digital modelling. It just sounded like there was no air to it at all whatsoever, was it? I know you can add air in post in digital. That's what you get to start with. I much prefer the feel of a real amp. For that reason? Yeah, for that reason. But anyway, that's what that sounded like. So quite different. Going straight into the door, you've got, well, I suppose there was less feel, wasn't there? There was no feel to it. Which I think is what tubes do, isn't it? Real tubes add feel. Do I know what I'm talking about? This is what you've got to ask yourself. I think a lot of you know the answer. Anyway, there you go. I thought the direct into the door sounded a bit rubbish. I thought a lot of these amps through my Princeton sounded fucking great. I've enjoyed mucking around with pedals, but you can probably see why I don't do it more often. That was my review of the Boss IR-2. It's going to be good to see what this is like in practice. So I'm gonna let he's not old, he's young. He's still young Brandon, he's going to borrow this and do some gigs and report back. And maybe at some point we'll get out and we'll go and hear for ourselves what it sounds like live. So there you go. That's the IR-2. Next. Now, last week, thank you for your support or your suggestions. Hundreds of suggestions, comments, how we can make the Guitaristas a sustainable channel where we still don't get paid for opinions. Basically, that's the thing. I don't want ever to be paid for my opinions. I want to be able to review gear without it being coloured in any way by money or whatever. So a lot of you suggested and very kindly offered to loan me your guitars. I could review your guitars, or suggested doing a kind of a Trogley-like new guitar day thing where I get a guitar and then send it on to the new owner. Thank you, great ideas, but it's not for me, that. I started this channel, a big reason why I started this channel is because it's to fuel my own guitar addiction, isn't it? I love buying new guitars and owning them, albeit briefly sometimes, but at least for that moment when I'm reviewing it, it's mine. I've got my own skin invested in it. I've bought it with my own money. So, that's just kind of the only way I see myself doing it. Lots of people have offered to lend me guitars in the past, and it's not something I kind of want to do really for those reasons. Although obviously it makes it difficult, doesn't it? So it's how do we finance this? I had a big shout out last week, a big call to action for new subscribers to the TV channel, because that's been running for 3 years now, where people pay $5 a month or $50 for a whole year's access, And that does start to add up and has been contributing in a much bigger way, certainly in the last year. It's building very slowly. And the last week, I've had nearly 40, there you go, nearly 40 new signees, new subscribers there. And they'll now get to enjoy ad-free content. You can watch all this stuff without those annoying ads that are becoming more and more annoying. I've got to say, I see it myself when I watch YouTube. They're getting really in your face these days. So on the TV channel, there's no ads whatsoever. You get to watch the content early as well, and all sorts of other perks. There's bonus content. I get quite a lot of extra content on there. Discounts for merchandise now I've got on there. Exclusive TV subscribers discounts. I'm going to start doing some competitions as well, exclusive on there as well. So I want to build the return. So, you know, it's not just like gifting me $50 a year. It's like you're getting something back. There's a forum on there where you can share your own pictures and stuff with you know, we other guitar addicts on there. It's quite an active thing now, the TV channel. It's with this lot, there's more than 350 subscribers on there now. So it's really a nice little exclusive little enclave of guitaristas. So that's massively appreciated. But those numbers still, I mean, okay, so on last week's film, I have had, I think as of now, I've had about 24,000 views, and I've had nearly 40 people subscribe, which is brilliant. That number is massive. When I do a big TV channel shout out like I did last week, and maybe like I'm doing now, that's the address to sign up if you've missed it, I do get an influx like that, and it's great. But then, you know, following weeks, I will get a one or two a week might sign up, but then, you know, every now and then people drop off as well. So it builds slowly. And that isn't, unfortunately, it's not quite enough. One day it will be, if we live long enough. So I'm not being ungrateful for that support, and you know, if you sign up to the TV channel, you're going to be rewarded in other ways, as well as, you know, the point that you are massively helping this thing. But we need a more substantial solution, I suppose. And I'm very pleased to say I think we found one. Following last week's video, a major UK-based music retailer reached out. I've been talking to them for some time, and they've offered me stuff in the past. They've offered me, you know, loan me gear, and I've said no. They've offered to paid reviews, and I've said no, and stuff like that. And they get now what we're doing here, and to the extent that they reached out and they said, look, we understand what you're trying to do here. We want to give something back to the community. We like the community that you've built there, that you're building there, and we want to give something back. So we're prepared to support you without any strings, basically. Although you could buy strings from them if you wanted to. See what I did there? But no, genuinely to become partners of the channel, and that's about it really. You know, there'll probably be a link where you can click through and see what they are selling, but there'll be no direct selling. There'll be no, you know, oh look what we've got today, go and do that. So I'd be a fool to turn that offer down, and I don't think we can afford to if we want to keep the channel going. So I think we're going to start that from February. I'll tell you who it is in due course. It'll be something and nothing really, but hopefully it'll work for everyone, and it'll mean that I'm not crossing that line that I've sort of drawn for myself, you know, of becoming a paid shill. I don't want to become a paid shill. I won't. I'd rather not do this. So I think I'm going to be very comfortably the right side of that line. So we'll give it a go and see what happens. I hope you're supportive of that. I think you'll see I'm not selling out. I don't feel like I'm selling out, which is why I'm inclined to do it. So I hope you agree. Let me know in due course. Wait until it happens and then you let me know. Don't make assumptions until you see what that looks like. You might be surprised. So that's what I wanted to say at the end of that. It was a lot of words this week, wasn't it? Crikey, a pedal review. A lot of words in that already. And then all that stuff at the end. I think I've got all the words out that I needed to, though. So that just remains for me to say thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting however it is you do, by watching, liking, subscribing to the TV channel, commenting. Yeah, that's the other thing, isn't it? Comment, like, subscribe, watch, and come back next week and see what we're up to then. I shall look forward to it. I'm going to go and have a lie down now and think about what it is we're going to do. Thanks again for everything. Cheers for now. Ta-da.